content on the internet, and I'm sure we have plenty of feelings about that. I know how people feel about it, especially in times of conflict like we're in now. How many people here have kids under 18? You've got all sorts of opinions and feelings about it, right? But in the context of your business, the attention that you need to start providing to this platform is very high. There's a direct correlation of how real it is for you to double your business, directly correlated to how much output you put out on social media. This organization itself changed the way they marketed after I spoke here 4 years ago. And it's been good. I think we should learn from that. What really gets me fascinated about this is you can have opinions about it, and a lot of people here have opinions about doing social media marketing, but have never done it. You've said no before you started. I promise you that if you focus on 2 specific platforms in the short term, in my opinion, for this industry, LinkedIn number 1, YouTube Shorts number 2. Okay? Let me tell you why I said YouTube Shorts, and I saw some faces. YouTube Shorts acts in a lot of ways like TikTok, has elements of Instagram, but unlike TikTok and Instagram, YouTube is a search engine. The number 2 search engine in the world is YouTube. Number 1 is Google, for people that can read, and number 2 is for people like me. When I'm really researching, if I'm going deeper, now I'm using ChatGPT. I mean, AI makes search look like the yellow pages, but we'll get to that another time. But YouTube is the visual and the audio, and that's how I learn. If you were to put out content on LinkedIn and YouTube that was to help people that hire you without the expectation of them hiring you in the content you make, you will be flabbergasted how much your business can grow. Now, nobody got here by accident, so you put in work to be here. The problem is with social media is most people don't realize how much work it is, and when they've gone, they stop because it's real work. My point of view is that you waste 4 hours a day on dumb stuff anyway, and so if you reallocated 2 of those 4 hours to actually getting good at this, you could have the things you want. But that's just gonna be up to what you decide to do. It's kind of like getting into better physical health. It's not super complicated. You've got to get your protein ratios better than your sugar and carbs. Don't eat crap, go to the gym. Like, everybody here knows how to be in better physical shape, but it's hard. Same with this. But it is a remarkable time to be in the B2B industry. To have, when Facebook and Twitter were happening back when I was really going at it, it was tough to come to B2B conferences and know that they couldn't take advantage of it the way I could do with B2C, right? Nobody was crushing events doing hardcore Twitter and Facebook in 2012, 13, 14. LinkedIn is a monster. The consumption is huge, and people are discovering businesses to do business with heavy. Not to mention, how many people here have specific targets? Meaning, there are specific companies or specific events that you would like to start servicing. Raise your hands. Epic. So, LinkedIn. Do you know that I run ads against employees of companies I want to do business with and have a stunning hit rate on it? The fact that you can run ads, meaning you make a piece of content, it goes organic and you see that it does well, and then you could take it and add money to it and spend $500, $200, $300 to run against targeting employees of the hands that you just raised, that is staggering. And before you ask me how, let me tell you how you do everything. There's a website. I'll spell it out for you. G-O-O-G. So as you're sitting here and be like, okay, what the fuck did he just say I want to try? You literally go to Google, it's this site, you've heard of it. You type in, how do I run LinkedIn ads? Enter, and then it shows up. This is not a game of you don't know how to do it. This is a game of you chose not to do it. My belief is that every single company in this room should be posting on LinkedIn 3 times a day. just LinkedIn, 3 times a day. There's a good chance that more than half this room has never posted on LinkedIn. And it's probably higher than 50%. So let me tell you what I'm referring to. I believe that this is the most important device on earth for business. I also know that the majority of our attention, which, to remind everybody how you sell shit, you need someone's attention, you tell them, and then they decide if they want to buy it or not. That for every person in this room, the only currency that they need to be chasing on a day-to-day basis is the attention of potential decision makers for their business. Attention is the thing I've been chasing my whole life, even when I started in Edison, New Jersey. My first business was a lemonade stand. I had this epiphany on stage, similar to that weird thing I just did there with trying to remember. I actually, in the middle of my speech, stopped 10, 12 years ago, early in my speaking career, and realized that I was very weird with my lemonade stand. Because I was telling a story about my lemonade and I realized I don't even remember selling any lemonade. And I used to think it was just because it was 100 years ago, but it wasn't. It's because when I sold lemonade, I spent my entire day walking up and down the streets of Oak Tree Road and Tingley Lane in Edison, New Jersey, and literally would sit there and watch cars drive by to try to figure out what tree or what post to put my lemonade stand sign on. I later did that the way I built out my baseball card tables. I would analyze, and then I really changed my dad's business long before I did internet and marketing, just by re-merchandising the store. Just watching every person that walked into the store, where they would go, why would they go there, and I changed the traffic flow and made people walk into the things I wanted to sell them. I was doing this as a teenager. This was not something I learned in college. This was intuitive to me. Today I do it professionally. What I do for a living is I day trade attention. Every day I wake up and I think about what on social media organically can reach people, what can reach people on social media with paid media. For my biggest clients, I convince them and push them to understand why the Super Bowl is the only television ad that's good, because all of you want to watch that commercial. Why banner ads on websites are complete garbage. None of you have clicked one in 100 fucking years. And more importantly, what videos, pictures, and all the science behind the art is required to compete. I can tell you as we sit here today that LinkedIn, for anybody here who's never posted once and never created a business account for your business on LinkedIn, that your first post, if the post is good, and we'll get into that in a minute, can reach tens of thousands of people. It's the business version of TikTok. Many of you at this point have probably been affected by somebody in your life, probably someone quite young, cousin, niece, nephew, someone like that, who literally posted one TikTok and got 1 million views. LinkedIn doesn't have that extreme. It's highly unlikely that anybody here on their first 10 posts just get 1 million views. But it is staggering how many people here within their first 10 posts on LinkedIn can have business development and get inbound for working together or working for an event. For me, I love selling. I love being a salesman. But selling and being a salesman is always the thing I most try not to do. The most interesting thing is to be a marketer and a brander and let the selling come to you. And so when I talk about LinkedIn and started 4 years ago, because I started seeing that it started to act more like Facebook than the LinkedIn that we all grew up with, when I was like, you need to market on LinkedIn, people were like, got it. And what they thought I was saying was go spam people and message them. What I was saying was make content and let it show up in the feed. If you were to start making content, and not every piece of content needs to be a commercial for what you do, though some of it can be. But if you started making content, for example, 5 mistakes people make on their first event. Do you know how much collective wisdom of events there is in this room? Or in your own head from all your years? You know the cliche mistakes, you know how people miss budget, you know where the mistake is, you know what's valuable. Are the flowers a good idea versus not? Could you get away with it or not? You know shit. Here's what I have to say. You're going into a half a decade of growth and you need to be on more offense. Do not, don't put yourself in a bad position, but remember, hiring employees, though you don't want to, it's not like you have a sunk cost, right? You can get out of it if you got caught. Make sure you realize how much of your non-growing is not that you're a perfectionist and want it awesome for your client. It's that you are insecure and egotistical and don't want other people doing shit. Of course people are gonna do it different than you. There's not one person at VaynerMedia of my 2,000 employees that does anything every day the way I would have done it. It's called being a company. It's called being a company. Now, by the way, this is why I asked the questions who, if you don't want to grow, you're more than welcome to have a project. You're more than welcome to have your thing. But if we're talking business in this room, you need to start hiring and you need to start delegating, you need to start trusting. Because culture, how many people here have more than 10 employees? Raise your hands. So for this group, culture, more than 10. Culture is so interesting to me. When I see the hands that just went up with more than 10, all that I think about is like, where is their relationship graph with those 10? You know, when I think about how I took Vayner, how I took my dad's store from 6 to 150 in 5 minutes, or how I took Vayner literally from 0 to 2,000 globally, it's because the hour I just spent prior to walking in here, I had 4 one-on-one meetings with employees I'd never met for 15 minutes just to get to know who they are and let them have some sense that they can reach out to me if they have a problem. I have 2,000 employees. I have so many friends who have 10 to 15 employees who really have no connection with their employees. I could not recommend more getting deeper into your business if you have employees and really knowing these people. Your retention of those employees is how I can get you from 10 to 40. 10 to 40 happens because of your relationship with 0 to 10.